gratitude to God Almighty. We would like to invite to please do come and join us today to lead the prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Haji Abdul Aziz Sidki, Head of Lajna Pentashihan Mushaf Al-Quran.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Mulia, segala puji kami panjatkan kepadamu, pujian yang meliputi seluruh jagat raya. Engkaulah pemilik kemuliaan dan pencipta alam semesta. Pelimpah anugerah tiada terhingga. Berkat taufikmu, kami pada hari ini bersua dalam acara pembukaan Konferensi Moderasi Beragama berdasarkan kemerdekaan, perdamaian abadi dan keadilan sosial. Ya Allah, Tuhan penganugerah perdamaian, anugerahkan kepada kami dan bangsa kami kerukunan, keharmonisan, dan kedamaian. Jadikanlah konferensi ini sebagai ikhtiar kami dalam mewujudkan indahnya persatuan dan persaudaraan, memberikan solusi terhadap permasalahan kemanusiaan di akhir zaman, dan membimbing umat manusia menuju jalan kedamaian yang diridai Tuhan. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Mengetahui, karuniakan kepada kami keluasan ilmu dan pengetahuan. Hiasilah kami dengan kesabaran dan kelembutan. Muliakanlah kedudukan kami dengan takwa dan kesalehan. Tanamkan pada jiwa kami nilai-nilai agama yang moderat dan menjunjung tinggi nilai-nilai kemanusiaan serta budaya bangsa yang terlestarikan dalam kehidupan individu, bermasyarakat, dan berbangsa dalam bingkai persatuan dan kesatuan. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Pengampun, ampunilah dosa dan kesalahan kami, orang tua dan guru-guru kami, para tokoh dan pimpinan bangsa kami. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Mendengar, kabulkanlah doa-doa kami. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas sami'ul alim wa tub alaina innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to Haji Abdul Aziz Sidki. You may now return to your seat. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, please do allow me to read a short notice on our agenda for this conference. We will start with an introductory remarks, and also we are also honored to have the remarks from the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Republic of Egypt, and the Chairman of the National Executive Board of Nahdlatul Ulama, Indonesia. We will then also have the opening remarks by the Vice Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Afterwards, we'd like to invite excellencies and distinguished guests to join us on stage together with the Vice Minister to finalize the opening ceremony. And then we shall continue to a visit on the Museum of the Asia-African Conference and then have a short break before continuing with the plenary sessions. Now to begin, ladies and gentlemen, we are very delighted to receive several video messages from various ministers. So we'd like to invite you to now, let's pay attention to the screen.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Saya menyampaikan selamat dan apresiasi sebesar-besarnya atas terselenggaranya Konferensi Moderasi Beragama Asia-Afrika dan Amerika Latin di Bandung. Kerjasama Kementerian Agama, Kementerian Luar Negeri, serta pengurus besar Nahdlatul Ulama. Saat ini kita sedang gelisah, dunia sedang gelisah, sungguh tidak masuk akal di tengah dunia modern sekarang ini masih terjadi perang, saling membunuh, bahkan mengorbankan jiwa perempuan dan anak-anak yang tidak berdosa. Tidak ada yang diuntungkan akibat konflik dan peperangan ini. Semuanya pasti akan menjadi kalah. Dunia harus kembali pada perdamaian, walaupun tentu saja di tengah-tengah kita selalu ada perbedaan. Sebagai warga negara Indonesia, kami beruntung bisa hidup damai di tengah perbedaan suku dan agama. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, Unity in Diversity, itulah pedoman hidup kami. Semangat inilah yang harus kita bawa untuk dunia, semangat Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, semangat persaudaraan dan kemanusiaan, semangat saling membantu dan bergotong royong di tengah perbedaan agama, perbedaan pandangan, dan kepentingan. Semoga Konferensi Moderasi Beragama Asia-Afrika dan Amerika Latin ini menghasilkan gerakan dunia untuk perdamaian dan penghargaan terhadap kemanusiaan. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi Santi, Om Namo Buddhaya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Saya Abdullah Azwaranas, Menteri Pendayaan Aparatur Negara dan Reformasi Birokrasi, mengucapkan selamat atas terselenggaranya Konferensi Moderasi Beragama Asia-Afrika dan Amerika Latin. Melalui kesempatan yang berbahagia ini, saya menyampaikan apresiasi kepada Kementerian Agama, Pengurus Besar Nahdlatul Ulama, dan Kementerian Luar Negeri yang telah berkolaborasi untuk menjembatani dialog untuk memperdalam pemahaman dalam menyikapi konstelasi geopolitik dunia. Konferensi ini diharapkan dapat menjadi wadah bagi kita semua untuk saling berbagi pemikiran, pengalaman, dan visi terkait peran agama dalam menjaga perdamaian dunia. Tema Religion and Humanity yang diusung tidak hanya mencerminkan keberagaman agama, tapi juga mengajak kita semua untuk bersama-sama merangkul nilai-nilai kemanusiaan dalam upaya membangun dunia yang lebih damai dan berkeadilan. Semoga forum ini menjadi momentum untuk memperkuat dan memberikan kontribusi positif terhadap praktik baik moderasi beragama, serta menyuarakan semangat dan pesan perdamaian dunia yang memperjuangkan nilai-nilai kemanusiaan. Wallahul muwaffiq lakum bithoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, To set the tone for today's event, now we would like to invite to come and join us on stage the chairman of the Agency for Research, Development, Education and Training of the Ministry of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia to deliver his introductory remarks. Please welcome Professor Dr. Suyitno.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. The Honorable Minister of Religious Affairs, Bapak Wamen yang dihadiri langsung, Honorable Ambassadors of our friendly nations, dan secara khusus Al-Mukarram Ketua Umum PBNU Gus Yahya, yang tadi sempat bertanya ini tarian apa. Saya bilang ini tarian khas Gus, melambangkan 3 benua, karena beliau kelihatannya kehilangan khawasul khawasnya kalau lihat nadi tarian kayak gitu ya. Of course, yang saya hormati para pejabat yang hadir, khususnya para eselon 1, baik dari Kementerian Agama, bil khusus Ibu Dirjen Kemenlu yang juga bersama kita, speakers and participants. Before I proceed, let us take a moment to express our gratitude to the Almighty God for this infinite mercy and grace. It is such a great blessing for all us together here for the Asia, Africa, and Latin America Conference on Religious Moderation. This event, the theme is Religion and Humanity, preparing for an Asia-Africa Latin America Conference, reviving the spirit of Bandung and the non-bloc movement in response to current geopolitical dynamics, has been organized in partnership with the Research in Development and Training Agency of the Ministry of Religious Affairs and Nahdlatul Ulama. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am pleased to share the objective of this conference. The first is reigniting the spirit of peace and unity from 1955 Asia-Africa Conference in Bandung in this building. Secondly, advancing Indonesia's role in international public diplomacy through the strengthening of religious moderation. And the third, encouraging a global atmosphere of peace and religious harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, this Asia, Africa, and Latin America Religious Moderation Conference will be takes from 19 and 22 December 2023. Of course, take place in this building and the Savoy Hotel in front of this building. Dear guests, this conference is preliminary conference, because the real conference will be taken on 2024 next year. So this conference is warming up conference before the real conference next year. It is our hope that together with Indonesia, this address the contemporary challenges to international peace and security. Untuk diketahui bersama bahwa konferensi yang kita laksanakan hari ini yang bentuknya adalah masih preliminary atau pra ini dihadiri tidak kurang dari more than 20 delegates from Africa, of Asia and Latin America. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have selected scholar, researcher, activist, moderation, and of course, some expert. This will present the studies, share the ideas and best practices for religious tolerance and impact lesson on the development of religious harmony. More importantly, then, they will also offer policy recommendation for mitigating and resolving issues related to intolerance, violence, and religious extremism, as well as strategies for strengthening religious moderation. And finally, thanks for your attention. Of course, apologize. Before I closing my greeting, I want to make pantun. I hope you respond by cakep. Aura kasih naik matador. Terima kasih untuk semua ambasador. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Suyitno. Ladies and gentlemen, next we'd like to invite all of you to pay attention to the screen as we're about to follow video testimonies by the Minister for Education, Culture, Research and Technology and the Minister for Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu. Kondisi lingkungan yang damai, aman, dan nyaman adalah syarat utama bagi pelajar untuk dapat belajar dengan optimal. Dan sebagaimana kita sadari bersama, anak-anak dan pelajar adalah para generasi penerus yang akan melanjutkan upaya mewujudkan masa depan yang lebih baik. Oleh karena itu merupakan tugas dan tanggung jawab kita semua untuk bersama-sama menciptakan dan menjaga perdamaian dan memastikan semua anak seluruh dunia mendapat haknya untuk belajar dengan merdeka. Saya, Mendikbudristek Nadiem Makarim, mengucapkan selamat atas terselenggaranya Konferensi Moderasi Beragama Asia-Afrika dan Amerika Latin. Semoga kegiatan ini mampu melahirkan gerakan nyata untuk menciptakan dan menjaga perdamaian. Mari bergerak serentak, wujudkan lingkungan yang aman dan memerdekakan untuk semua, khususnya setiap pelajar di seluruh dunia, tanpa terkecuali. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu. Saya Tri Risma Harini, Menteri Sosial Republik Indonesia, mengucapkan selamat AA yang diselenggarakan oleh Badan Litbang Diklat Kementerian Agama Republik Indonesia bekerja sama dengan pengurus-pengurus besar Nahdlatul Ulama dan Kementerian Luar Negeri. Selamat berkonferensi. Semoga konferensi strategis ini dapat memberikan kontribusi dalam upaya untuk menghentikan eskalasi konflik di berbagai belahan dunia. dengan menyuarakan penguatan menciptakan perdamaian abadi bagi seluruh dunia. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om. Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu.
Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we are very honored to invite to the stage the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to deliver his remarks. Please welcome His Excellency Faisal Abdullah Al-Amudi.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد الخلق المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم تنزيله: يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. صدق الله العظيم. الحضور الكرام القائمين على الفعالية الهامة جدا، إنه من دواعي سروري مشاركتكم هذه الفعالية المهمة جدا التي تبرز الجهود الحثيثة التي يبذلها القائمين عليها لتكريس التعايش، مبدأ التعايش السلمي بين مختلف الحضارات في كافة أنحاء المعمورة. وأود في هذه المناسبة المباركة أن أتقدم بجزيل الشكر لتقديم الدعوة لسفارة المملكة العربية السعودية وسفير المملكة العربية السعودية للمشاركة فيها، وأشكركم على حسن الضيافة، كرم الضيافة وجودة التنظيم. كما تعلمون أيها السادة والسيدات الكرام، إن بلادي المملكة العربية السعودية هي بلد مهبط الوحي ومهد الإسلام، الدين العظيم الذي من أهم مبادئه الدعوة إلى التعايش السلمي بين مختلف الثقافات والحضارات والأعراق. إن حكومة المملكة العربية السعودية وكما يعلم الجميع تعد شريك دولي موثوق فيه في نشر قيم التسامح والاعتدال، ولها مبادرات ومشاريع عملية في هذا الصدد، انطلاقا من إيمانها بأن التعايش السلمي مسؤولية مشتركة بين كافة الحضارات، أتباع الحضارات والمعتقدات المختلفة، وأن هذا التعايش من أولويات تعليم الإسلام العظيم. وفي بلاد المملكة العربية السعودية نسعى وبكل جد إلى تعزيز التفاعل البناء بين الثقافات العالمية، وندرك جيداً إن أهمية البعد الإنساني المشترك لكل ثقافة يعد مرتكزاً مهماً في العلاقات الدولية. وحالياً لا يوجد أي محفل عالمي يناقش هموم السلام العالمي إلا وتجد المملكة العربية السعودية حاضرة فيه بفعالية، كما إن دعمها لم يتوقف على دعم أي منطقة، أي منظمة أو جهة إقليمية تمثل السلام العالمي وتدعم التعايش بين الشعوب. ومن أمثلة ذلك دعمها ووقوفها إلى جميع المنظمات الدولية بما فيها رابطة منظمة التعاون الإسلامي التي نجحت في أن تكون مرجعية إسلامية عالمية تمثل الشعوب الإسلامية خير تمثيل. وفي ظل هذه الرؤية الفريدة تكتسب المملكة وتستحق احترام العالم لمواقفها التي يشهد لها التاريخ، سواء في موقفها السياسي أو دعمها الإنساني الذي لم توقفه على جنس أو عرق أو بحسب دين أو اختلاف في وجهات النظر. فالسعودية ترى الإنسان هو الإنسان الذي كرمه الله بعمارة الأرض، وأن تحقيق كرامته هو من تاريخ روح الإسلام الفريدة. وفي الختام أيها السادة والسيدات الكرام، أرجو الله عز وجل أن تكلل كافة الجهود المبذولة في هذا الإطار من قبل أشقائنا في جمهورية أندونيسيا بالنجاح والتوفيق، وبما يعزز روح التعايش السلمي والتسامح بين شعوب الأرض على اختلاف مشارفهم وثقافاتهم. أدعو إلى التعايش السلمي بين الحضارات والثقافات المختلفة بما يعزز الأمن والسلم الدوليين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your remarks. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we'd like to continue, and we are also honored to invite to come and join us on stage the Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates to the Republic of Indonesia and ASEAN to deliver his remarks. Please welcome His Excellency Abdullah Salem Al-Dahiri.
Vice Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, my dear brother, Your Excellency Yahya Khalil Stagov, Chairman of Nahdlatul Ulama Central Board, Her Excellency Ambassador Siti Nagraha, Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellency Dr. Amin Sutono, Head of Agency of Research and Development, Your Excellency Professor Shams Al-Anwar, Chairman of Executive Board of Al-Muhammadiyah, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good morning and salamat bagi. First, allow me to extend my gratitude to the Indonesian government for inviting me to share my country's experience to create a tolerant, open, and moderate society. The United Arab Emirates and the Republic of Indonesia share the same stance regarding tolerance and diversity of religions, cultures, and races. In an increasingly polarized world, the United Arab Emirates proposes a dedicated space for interfaith dialogue with a new vision for the Middle East region and an alternative, future-oriented model that supports moderate Islam, empowers women, embraces diversity, encourages innovation, and welcomes global engagement. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, these values have been ingrained in the UAE's DNA since the country's founding in 1971. It explains why over 200 nationalities call the United Arab Emirates home, and why different religions have built approximately 52 churches, 2 Hindu temples, a Sikh temple, and a Buddhist temple, which welcomes multinational congregations. The region's largest Anglican church, which is currently being built in Abu Dhabi, the capital city of the United Arab Emirates, and will accommodate more than 4,000 worshippers once completed. And in the year 2017, the President of United Arab Emirates have renamed a mosque in the capital Abu Dhabi government have established the Ministry of Tolerance and Coexistence, which plays a vital role in promoting tolerance and addressing the challenges of an intolerant society. The Ministry of Tolerance, led by His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, implements programs that foster respect, peaceful coexistence, and mutual understanding among people in the United Arab Emirates. Another notable initiative is the Year of Tolerance, which was proclaimed in the year 2019 by the United Arab Emirates President, the late Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. It aimed to uphold the UAE's status as a global capital for tolerance. During this year, numerous activities, events, and campaigns were organized to foster a culture of tolerance and enhance understanding among people from different backgrounds and beliefs. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the United Arab Emirates is also working with partners around the world to advance religious inclusion. The country first established diplomatic relations with the Vatican in the year 2007, and in the year 2016, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates, met His Holiness Pope Francis at the Vatican to discuss shared values of inclusion and understanding. This helped lay a groundwork for the Pope's historic visit during the year 2019 to visit the United Arab Emirates. It was the first ever visit by a sitting Pope to the Arabian Peninsula, the birthplace of Islam. This momentous occasion reflects the United Arab Emirates' openness and commitment to inclusivity and freedom of worship. During this visit, the Pope was received by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates, and his brother, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates. The Pope also met with the Muslim Councils of Elders at Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi. The major outcome of this visit was the signing of the Human Fraternity document with Dr. Ahmed Al-Tayyib, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar and Chairman of the Muslim Council of Elders. The document calls for interfaith harmony and understanding, and it is intended to provide a guide to advance a culture of mutual respect and tolerance between adherents of the two religions. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it calls also on the world leaders to rediscover the values of peace, justice, goodness, beauty, human fraternity, and coexistence in order to confirm the importance of these values as an anchor of salvation for all. Inspired by the document of human fraternity, the United Arab Emirates officially inaugurated the Abrahamic Family House on the 16th of February of this year, which is an interfaith space, consists of a mosque, a synagogue, and a church on Saadiyat Island in Abu Dhabi, which is considered to be a unique preserved island. As we all know, the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are united by the belief in one God. Therefore, the overall design of the Abrahamic Family House highlights the similarities between the three faiths of their corresponding architectural traditions. Each of the three houses of faith stands at the same height to symbolize equality. The Abrahamic house also acts as a place for religious worship as well as space for exhibitions, programs, conferences, and interfaith dialogue initiatives. This House aims to support global and regional stability, increase collaborative opportunities, expand economic prosperity, strengthen international relations, counter violent extremism in all forms, enhance cross-cultural dialogue, and promote peace. Ladies and gentlemen, collaboration to promote the values of tolerance and coexistence is one of the issues discussed during the meetings between His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates, during the meetings between His Highness and the world leaders. His Highness always emphasized the need for joint international efforts to ensure peace, stability, and development regionally and globally, to pave the way for a brighter future for the coming generation. To conclude, I would like to stress that the United Arab Emirates would keep working towards creating a society that values and promotes tolerance, making it a welcoming and inclusive environment for people from all over the world. I thank you all. Terima kasih. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Abdullah Salem Al-Dahiri, for your remarks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the next agenda, we are also honored to invite to come and join us on stage. Joining us today here is the Chargé d'Affaires of the Republic of Egypt to also deliver his remarks. Please welcome Mr. Osama Hamdi.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Your Excellency, Mr. Khalil Stakov, the head of Nahdlatul Ulama, Your Excellencies, the officials of Ministry of Religious, Your Highness and Your Excellencies, the ambassadors accredited to Republic of Indonesia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me talk in English, as we are now in a conference for all the Asia, America, Latin America, and African countries. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to participate today in this conference, the first of its kind for the countries from Asia, Africa, and South America, on the subject of the religious modernization for the sake of humanity. In response to the invitation of the Minister of His Excellency, the Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference, which is aiming to promote religious modernization as an understood and participated by Indonesian and all other countries from Asia, Africa, and Latin America, under the spirit of the historical conference of Bandung, Asia-African Conference in 1955, it keeps in mind, or it keep in mind all the principles that has been confirmed and has been established in this historical conference in 1955 by the leaders of Indonesia, Egypt, and all Asia, Africa, Latin America Conference in the mid-20th century. Egypt and Indonesia, they have already played a role in the religious coexistence for more than 1 century through the cooperation between Al-Azhar al-Sharif and the Ministry of Religious in all the Islamic activities that was trying to confirm the modernization and the moderate Islam and all the principles of moderate Islam. Al-Azhar al-Sharif has already played this role for more than 1,000 years ago, all over the world to confirm about the main principles of coexistence with, among all the nations of all the world. On behalf of the Egyptian government, including religious leaders, especially Al-Azhar Sharif, I wish you all participants, attendants, and those organizing this conference all success in achieving the main goal of organizing the conference: to send a clear message from the heart of that historical city of Bandung to the whole world, to the human conscience of the entire world, in order to reaffirm the common principles and foundation of religious coexistence among the people, all the peoples on the earth, and to emphasize rejection of all kind of extremism, violence, and racism from all parts of the world, especially since it coincides with the tragedy that the world is currently witnessing on the land of Palestine. I extend to you my sincere appreciation from the heart of this historical city that witnessed the establishment of the first mechanism for the peoples of the developing world in Bandung, I mean the non-aligned movement. That mechanism which has always tried throughout its history to express the aspirations and ambitious towards a better world enjoying stability, peace, and security without bias towards any major powers. I wish you all continuous success in your endeavors to achieve justice, peace, and security throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we all need to call the whole world to unite towards stopping the killing of civilians, children, and women during the current conflict in Palestine, which has witnessed its first chapter not on 7th of October 2023, but it extended back to the start of the tragedy of the Palestinians since 1948. And it's still continuing as the state of Israel remains to occupy illegally the historical land of Palestinians. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best to promote and to have a successful conference to promote the main principles of coexistence between all the religions, as have already doing all over the world. And I wish you all success for this conference to confirm about the main principles of religious modernity and the coexistence between all religions all over the world. Terima kasih and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osama Hamdi, for your remarks. Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to invite to the stage the chairman of the National Executive Board of Nahdlatul Ulama Indonesia to also deliver his remarks. Please welcome Kiai Haji Yahya Stakuf.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad ibn Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi mawala. Amma ba'd, Honorable Vice Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Saiful Rahmat Dasuki, Honorable Director General of Public Diplomacy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Her Excellency Ambassador Siti Nugraha, Honorable Director General of Research and Development of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Pak Suyitno, without Amin, honorable ambassadors, religious leaders, intellectuals, dignitaries, excellencies and eminences. Almost 69 years ago, in 1955, in this very building, in 24th of April, 1955, there was a historical conference with countries, mostly the newly proclaimed countries of Asia and Africa, gathering in this very building by the initiative, the joint initiative of President Sukarno of Indonesia, President Jamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, and Prime Minister Nehru of India. And the conference which was named the Asia-Africa Conference and later known and famous as the Bandung Conference, was meant to remind the world about the principles of the international consensus achieved by international leaders in 1945, namely the United Nations Charter. That the United Nations Charter was a consensus meant to end the orderless competition and animosities among various kinds of groups in humanity. Enmity among nations, among races, ethnicities, and even religions and ideologies. Before UN Charter, hostilities and wars were normal. Killing each other between different groups were normal. Subjugations were normal. And even genocide was normal. It was all happened for thousands of years of human history. From the era of Roman Empire, even before, from the era of the Sumerian and Assyrian civilizations, the ancient Egypt, the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, and so forth. It all happens from time to time until it reached in the greatest conflict, which were global, namely the World War I and World War II, which took tolls of casualties of over 100 million human lives. That creates a shock to the world that then triggered the international community to come to an agreement, to a consensus, to end all those atrocities, to prevent those atrocities to ever happen again. That is what the UN Charter was meant. It was meant to create an order, an international order, which is based on rules and not competition of powers. It was meant to begin. It was meant to begin to start the respect, universal respect to humanity, regardless differences in races, ethnicities, and religions. So, the vision was to create a brand new international order based on rules, based on the respect of equal dignity and rights of every human being. But such rules, any rules, would need a structure of power to guarantee its implementation. This is why then the United Nations organization was established and operationalized. And within the United Nations organization, there is a body which is called the Security Council, with 5 permanent members, which are the winners of the Second World War and were considered to be the most powerful nations at the time. This kind of structure back then seemed to be reasonable and realistic, because again, the rules that is needed to manage, to get the world, the international community into an order of peace and stability, those rules would need also a structure of power to implement it, to impose it over all member countries of the United Nations organization. But what happened in reality is not always the exact picture as it is envisioned. What happened almost immediately after the establishment of United Nations Charter and the United Nations Organization, there was a development of a bipolar world, the West and the East. The West led by the United States of America, and the East, led by the Soviet Union. And these two poles were operating in a way that was almost similar to the mode that the world had even before the international consensus was achieved, namely the competition of powers and the competition to gain more and more influence over more and more part of the world. That was the thing that raised a concern, a deep concern, that was shared by our leaders back then, especially the leaders of newly proclaimed countries, countries that newly proclaimed their independence. And most of those countries were of Asia and Africa. So then, in Bandung, in this building, to remind the power structure of the world, to remind the United Nations, the power structure of United Nations organization, what it was meant to be, which is to guard the principles of the United Nations Charter itself, to guard the principles of respect of fundamental human rights, the respect of the equal dignity of every nation and every human being. Ladies and gentlemen, back then, not long after that historical conference, President Sukarno then stated, he expressed his dream to have an expanded forum of the Asia-Africa Conference. He said that he wanted to have an Asia, Africa, and Latin America conference. He said the time we managed to successfully hold the AA conference. Now we are aimed to have the AAA conference. Because as much as there were so many new nations in Asia and Africa, there were also newly emerging nations in Latin America. That was how the non-alliance movement was started. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of the world then led us to the current situation in global dynamics, where the beautiful dreams of the United Nations Charter is not yet to be realized in reality. And many people may even see that our situations are getting worse. Atrocities, human atrocities, are still happening. 3 weeks ago, during of ours, except the breakdown, the total breakdown of all human and global civilization. So we need to do something. We cannot see any other momentum that would be more crucial than this. We need again to make a big voice, a significantly big voice, to remind the world about the very important consensus that was already achieved in 1945, namely the United Nations Charter. It was a very, very crucial consensus, and at the same time, very, very expensive. That consensus was achieved after the atrocities that took tolls of more than 100 million lives, human lives, in World War I and World War II. How many more atrocities that we need to see before we stop all this human tragedy? So the world needs something now. We, each of our nation, we proud of our own respected history. But now we need to do something together to remind the world about the utmost threat to our human existence. With inspiration from what President Sukarno, along with his colleagues, President Jamal Abdel Nasir and Prime Minister Nehru, and all nations in Asia and Africa back in 1945, we have an idea and an intention to recreate the history and even do more by realizing President Sukarno's dream to have an Asia, Africa, and Latin America conference in the future. We invite you here to think about that idea together, and let us work together for that, for the sake of the future of humankind, for the sake of our children and grandchildren, for the future of human civilization. We invite you here to start working together for what could be and would be an Asia, Africa, and Latin America Conference, inshallah, next year. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation in this conference and your contribution. After all, we're all just human beings, and we need help from the Almighty God, that our efforts for the betterment of human condition and human civilization would reach and find a path forward to a better future. I wish you a good and fruitful conference, and again, thank you. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thariq. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Once again, we'd like to thank Haji Yahya Stakuf. Thank you very much for your very strong message today. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, distinguished guests, now we'd like to continue to the next agenda as we are about to officially open our event today. And with that, we will start by firstly hearing the remarks from the Vice Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, which will then be continued by the invitation of all delegation and ambassadors to come and join us on stage. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming once again. We have the Vice Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Saiful Rahmat Dasuki. The stage is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa nabiyuna wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Yang saya hormati Your Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs Republik Indonesia, Ms. Retno Marsudi, yang diwakili oleh Ibu Siti Nugraha, Dirjen Diplomasi Publik. Your Honorable Ketua Umum Pengurus Besar Nahdlatul Ulama, Bapak Kiai Haji Yahya Stakuf, the Honorable Ambassador from the foreign countries, the Honorable, the Head of the Research and Development and Training Agency, Profesor Dr. A. Suyitno, respected Echelon 1 and 2 official within the Ministry of Religion and other ministry or institutional conference speaker and participant, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to apologize for the absence for the Ministry of Religion because the ministry is carrying out other that is needed to the Haji pilgrims. Insyaallah Bapak Menteri akan tiba di tanah air pada siang hari ini. Jadi saya izin mewakili sambutan beliau. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu. Welcome to the city of Bandung, a historic city where the 1955 conference was first conducted. In the ever-evolving world, scholars have acknowledged the significant role of religion in shaping the public sphere and influencing public policy, while some remain skeptical about the positive contribution of religion. Looking at the history of religious war and power struggles, I have a firm belief that religion has transformative power in our life locally and globally. This belief has led us to R20, a landmark event under Indonesia G20 presidency. The main purpose of R20 was to inspire leaders to stop viewing religion as a problem, but to see as part of the solution. Today, religion is being part of world problem because some parties have manipulated religion to serve their own interests. It is therefore in the hands of the leaders like all of us, we should facilitate positive dialogue to rectify global issues related to religion. Ladies and gentlemen, post the Arab Spring, some Middle Eastern countries continue to deal with the impact of conflict. It began with protests in Tunisia and spilled over into countries like Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Syria, culminating in the Saudi Arabia-Yemen war, in the races and question wherein religion situated amidst this conflict. Today, as we gather in the historic Merdeka building, we recall the Asia-Afrika Conference of 1955, a momentous event that promoted ASEAN-African economic and cultural coefficient and fought colonialism in the changing times. Religion, culture, and solidarity among nations are the driving forces to achieve world peace, especially amidst ongoing conflict. My respect, colleagues, this conference on religious moderation in Asia, Africa, and Latin America was for more than just an academic gathering. It is a powerful reminder of the enduring spirit of solidarity that binds the nation of Asia and Latin America together. The spirit is a historical legacy of the Asia-Africa Conference should inspire us to foster collaboration and solidarity today. Together, we are more powerful to build our nation and build the world's peace. By propagating Asia-Africa Conference core value of equality, cooperation, and peaceful coexistence, this mindset, seeing the past as our memory and the future be our hope, needs to be nurtured today more than ever. Esteemed audience, in light of recent conflict, we extend an invitation to all leaders worldwide. We invite you to present a resurgence of faith as a global solution towards achieving with peace. This resurgence is characterized by religious tolerance and moderation, serving as a beacon to individual and nation worldwide, guiding us towards moderation and away from extremism. Religious moderation is being our national program as a way to promote tolerance and eliminate extreme Indonesia with its diverse of religious and belief, consider this diversity and divine gift. Where the significance of religious moderation comes into play, it serves as a bridge between religious fervor and national commitment. In Indonesia, our religion is deeply intertwined with our identity as Indonesian and vice versa. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly recommend that religious moderation be a global solution toward achieving world peace. The religious moderation movement can become a well-run initiative to resolve ongoing conflict. I firmly believe that religious moderation can pave the way for a harmonious, peaceful, and tolerant religious and national life in any country, including those in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. I express my gratitude to the Research and Development and Training Agency of the Ministry of Religious for organizing this conference. Minister of Religious Affairs of the Republic Indonesia, Yakut Khalil Kaumas. Finally, I hope this forum can provide benefits for the life for religious moderation throughout the world, and everyone have a great time exchanging idea and build positive conference. Sebelum saya tutup, izinkan saya juga baca pantun seperti Prof. Sitno. Burung merpati, burung murai, hinggap di dahan pohon melati. senang hati tiba di gedung ini. Mudah-mudahan kita semua diberkati. Makan salad isi kani, makan nasi dengan ikan. Sungguh indah dunia ini, hidup rukun dalam perbedaan. Terima kasih. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Santi Santi Om, nama budaya, salam kebajikan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Minister. To Mr. Saiful Rahmat Dasuki, please do remain on the stage as we're about to continue with the next agenda, which is the official opening ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, to join Mr. Vice Minister on stage, please allow me to invite Mr. Kiai Haji Yahya Stakuf. We'd like to also invite Her Excellency Siti Nugraha Mauludiah. Profesor Dr. Suitno. Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Faisal Abdullah Al Amudi. Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates, His Excellency Abdullah Salim Al Dairi. Professor Dr. Arskal Salim, Secretary of the Research, Development and Training Agency of the Ministry of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Ambassador of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, His Excellency Sudki Atallah Abdul Al-Qadir Al-Omush. Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran, His Excellency Muhammad Borojerde. Ambassador of the Republic of Mozambique, His Excellency Belmiro Jose Malate. Ambassador of the State of Libya, His Excellency Zakaria El Mograbi. Ambassador of the Republic of Yemen, His Excellency Dr. Abdul Ghani Nasser Ali Al-Shamiri. Ambassador of the Republic of Sudan, His Excellency Dr. Yasir Mohammed Ali. Now we'd like to also invite Chargé d'Affaires of the United Mexican States, Mr. Alonso Martin Gomez Favila. Chargé d'Affaires of the Republic of Iran, Dr. Amar Hamid Sadala Al-Khalidi. The First Secretary of the Royal Embassy of Cambodia, Mr. Ngor Poi. Chargé d'Affaires of the Republic of Egypt, Mr. Osama Hamdi. Second Secretary of the Embassy of the Republic of India, Ms. Avantika Singh. Counselor of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Chu Xinli. Religious Attaché of the Malaysian Embassy for Malaysia, Mr. Muhammad Shamsuri bin Ghazali. The Deputy Chief of Mission of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Jackson Nyagaka Onkoba. Deputy Head of Mission of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mr. Muhammad Faisal Fayaz. Defense Attaché of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Commodore Chaminda Karunasena. Counselor of the Embassy of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Madame Leila Atayeva. Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please do prepare to hold your angklung. Angklung is a traditional instrument from West Java. And together with the spirit of this conference, you may place your left hand in the middle top of the angklung, like so, and your right hand on the bottom right. Yes. You may use your two fingers like this or hold it from above. Exactly. And your right hand just at the bottom right. Now to sound this angklung will be very easy. All we have to do is just put our left hand still and our right hand shake it from left to right. All right? All right. So ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Excellencies, I hope we are ready to do this opening ceremony together. And I hope everybody is ready also to take the memory of this very momentous event. Excellencies, let us count down together. In 3, 2, 1. And with the harmonious sound of angklung, the Asia-Africa and Latin America Conference on Religious Moderation, Religion and Humanity is officially open! Thank you very much, Excellencies. Ladies and gentlemen, please do remain where you are. Don't go anywhere just yet, because I think this would be a very perfect moment for all of us to take a picture together. All right? All right. Now, Excellencies, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we are about to take a picture together. So please do, just in a few moments, we are going to look together to our photographer right there in the front at the center. And together while holding the instrument of angklung. So we will have a two photo. The first photo, we will hold the angklung together. Let's show it together to the photographer. And rightly after this, our team will collect back and then we will have another photo session, okay? Now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us now give our big smiles together to the Photographer right there at the front. 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're about time. We're going to do another one. We will help and collect the angklung from all of you and do another photo session shortly after this. Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, surely after this photo session, together we will follow the key message on what this conference will be about, and followed by plenary sessions. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, let us now put our attention to the photographer at the front. 3, 2, 1. And one more time. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, with that wraps the official opening ceremony. And let's close this off with, once again, a big round of applause for all of us who have attended today in spirit for religion and humanity to hopefully bring peace. Thank you very much, Excellencies, distinguished guests, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen up on the stage. You may now return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough for joining us and being a part of this very momentous occasion that we have witnessed together on that official opening ceremony. Now, next up, before we continue our agenda with plenary sessions, which will discuss on very important topics regarding this conference, we will firstly hear the key messages, which will be delivered again by the chairman of the National Executive Board of Nahdlatul Ulama Indonesia. So once again, please welcome me and joining us together in the stage once again to Mr. Kiai Haji Yahya Stakuf. Once again, we give you the time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, I am tasked to convey what is supposed to be the key message of this conference, and allow me to actually repeat what I already conveyed in my speech just now, that this conference, this Asia, Africa and Latin America conference on religious moderation is meant to consolidate an international support for the realization of an actual Asia, Africa and America conference, inshallah, next year in Indonesia. And we invite you all from all nations to join us in working together to prepare and execute that initiative. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kiai Haji Yahya Stakuf. Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that all of you are aware that right now, all of us are seated here in a historical building of the 1955 Asian African Conference. Now, we would like to therefore invite excellencies and representatives from the ASEAN, African, and Latin American embassies here in Indonesia, and also our distinguished speakers to join us for a short visit to the Museum of the ASEAN African Conference next door. Please do gather at the front door to enter the museum, as the museum team is ready to guide all of you for the short tour. And to all of our honorable participants, please do remain where you are as we're about to begin our plenary session. Now, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this event was organized for us to dive into discussions on the practices and also ideas of religious moderation, peace, and humanity, which will be led by our distinguished guest speakers and also panelists from Asia-Africa countries. And so with that, we will now turn our attention to the plenary session. And for this plenary session, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to inform you that as for today, we will have two sessions, one which will begin in just a short moment, and we will have the second plenary session beginning right after the lunch break. So with that, again, to our excellencies, distinguished guests, again, to all the representatives from the ASEAN, African, and Latin American embassies in Indonesia, and also our distinguished speakers, please to come and join us for a short visit to the Museum of the ASEAN African Conference next door. Again, please do gather at the front door, as you will be able to enter the museum, where our team is ready to guide you for the short tour. Now again, speaking of the spirit of the 1955 Asian African Conference, together we are gathered here today for the Asia-Africa and Latin America Conference on Religious Moderation, Religion, and Humanity. Now, knowing about the evolving situation and in response to the current geopolitical dynamics, ladies and gentlemen, we will bring several important topics which will then be discussed during the plenary session. Now, as for the first plenary session, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the speakers coming from Indonesia and also from Egypt. So with that, we're about to take a short 5-minute break, and then we will come back to continue with the first session. So please do enjoy. Thank you very much, and we will come back very shortly. Thank you. Bapak Ibu tamu undangan yang kami hormati, kami informasikan bahwa acara selanjutnya adalah plenary session. Kami akan memiliki 2 plenary session, yang mana session pertama akan dilangsungkan sesaat lagi, dilanjutkan dengan break makan siang, dan kemudian dilanjutkan dengan plenary session kedua. Bapak Ibu tamu undangan yang kami hormati, untuk saat ini kita akan break sejenak selama kurang lebih 5 menit, sembari kita akan menyiapkan untuk sesi kita yang pertama, yang mana akan dihadiri oleh para pembicara kita dari Indonesia dan juga dari Mesir. Terima kasih banyak atas kerjasama Bapak Ibu sekalian. Kami nantikan Anda untuk tetap bergabung bersama dengan kami sesaat lagi. Terima kasih.
ketidakadilan dan konflik antara Israel yang telah lama ketidakadilan dan konflik antara Israel dengan Palestina yang telah berlangsung selama berpuluh-puluh tahun adalah tragedi kemanusiaan yang sampai kapanpun tidak boleh dianggap normal, walaupun menjadi realitas yang berketerusan selama sekian lama. Masyarakat internasional tidak boleh sedetik pun melupakan masalah yang sedang terjadi di tanah Palestina itu. Kami menghimbau kepada semua pihak yang memiliki perhatian dan keprihatinan kemanusiaan atas hal ini untuk melakukan sesuatu, berupaya berkontribusi dengan cara yang konstruktif menurut kemampuan masing-masing. Dan Nahdlatul Ulama khususnya Lazisnu menyediakan diri untuk dapat menjadi saluran bagi partisipasi membantu kesulitan-kesulitan, kesengsaraan yang dialami oleh warga Palestina di Gaza. Mari kita semua berdoa untuk manusia-manusia di Palestina, berdoa untuk masa depan yang lebih baik bagi kemanusiaan.